For 40 years, we were sold a lie, a very expensive lie. They told us that if we studied hard, followed the rules, and hit this one magical number, we would be rich, we would be free. But you did it. You hit the number. You got the promotion. You saw the extra zero in your bank account. So why are you still checking the price of eggs? Why does a sudden car repair make your stomach turn? Why do you feel like you are drowning when on paper you're supposed to be winning? Here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to admit. You aren't crazy, and you aren't bad with money. The math has fundamentally changed. In 1990, a shoe salesman could buy a home and support a family of 4. Today, a six-figure earner is technically low class. You aren't bad with money. The money is bad with you. Welcome to the silent depression. Let's start with the biggest thief of your wealth, the reason you feel broke despite the paycheck: housing. Look at the pop culture of the 90s. Look at the houses in movies like Home Alone or shows like The Simpsons. Homer Simpson worked a low-level job at a power plant. He didn't have a master's degree, he wasn't an executive, yet he owned a 4-bedroom home with a garage, a backyard, and 2 cars. He supported a wife and 3 kids. Back then, that wasn't fiction, that was the average reality. In 1990, the median household price in the United States was around $120,000. The median household income was about $30,000. That is a ratio of 4 to 1. It was difficult, sure, but it was mathematically possible. Fast forward to today, in many major cities where high-paying jobs actually exist, that same starter home, if you can even find one, isn't $120,000, it's $500,000, it's $700,000. In some places, it's $1 million for a shack. But salaries? They haven't tripled, they haven't quadrupled, they've barely moved when adjusted for inflation. If you make $100,000 today, the bank will tell you that you qualify for a mortgage, but the math tells a horror story. After taxes, your take-home pay is maybe $6,000 a month. A mortgage on an average home today with current interest rates is easily $4,000 a month. That leaves you with $2,000 for food, for utilities, for a car, for your life. You are not rich, you are house poor. You are one missed paycheck away from disaster. The cornerstone of the American dream, owning your own place, has turned into a financial prison for the six-figure earner.
But let's say you rent. Let's say you avoid the housing trap. You should have plenty of cash left over, right? Wrong. Because while housing is the biggest thief, it's not the only one. We need to talk about the lifestyle illusion. There is a concept in economics called the hedonic treadmill. It means that as you make more money, your expectations rise. But today, it's not just expectations rising, it's the baseline cost of survival. Let's look at transportation. In the 90s, a reliable new car cost $15,000. Today, the average price of a new car is nearly $48,000. Interest rates are up. Insurance is up by 20% in just the last year. So you are making $100,000, but you're driving a car that costs as much as a house did in the 1950s, and you're paying for it with money that's worth less and less every single day. And then there are groceries. We all feel it. You walk into the supermarket for a few things, and you walk out $100 poorer. Food prices have jumped 25% since 2020. That's not a fluctuation, that's a permanent reduction in your standard of living. So let's recap the budget of our rich six-figure earner. The government takes 30%, housing takes 40%, student loans, which you needed to get the job in the first place, take another 10%, the car takes 10%, food and utilities take the rest. At the end of the month, the bank account is at zero. This is what they call the golden handcuffs. You have the title, you have the salary, you have the nice apartment, but you have zero freedom. You cannot quit, you cannot take a break, you're running faster and faster just to stay in the exact same place. But there's a silent partner in all of this, someone we haven't mentioned yet, someone who's taking a massive cut of your hard work while giving you less and less in return: the tax man. There's a dirty little secret about inflation that politicians love. It's called fiscal drag. Here's how it works. As inflation pushes prices up, you eventually get a raise. Maybe you finally hit that $100,000 mark. Hooray! But the government doesn't adjust the tax brackets fast enough to match inflation. So you are now earning more dollars, which pushes you into a higher tax bracket intended for rich people. But those dollars buy less stuff. You are being taxed like a rich person from 2010 while living with the purchasing power of a poor person in 2026. You are being squeezed from both sides. The cost of living is crushing you from below, and the tax system is hammering you from above. The middle class isn't just shrinking, it's being liquidated. So, why does this matter? Why am I telling you this? To make you depressed? No, I'm telling you this because you need to stop blaming yourself. For years, financial gurus have told you to stop buying coffee and make a budget. They told you that if you're broke on a high salary, it's your fault. They gaslighted you. Cutting out lattes doesn't fix a broken economic system. Saving $5 a day doesn't bridge the gap when houses cost 10 times your salary. The old rules of money are dead. Saving your way to wealth is mathematically impossible in this environment. If you keep playing by the rules of 1990, you will lose. You will work until you're 75, and you will still retire broke. So what do? First, you have to accept that the safety of a salary is an illusion. $100,000 isn't a destination, it's just the starting line. In this economy, you cannot rely on a single income stream. You cannot rely on a savings account that pays you nothing while inflation eats your money alive. You have to become an investor, not because it's nice to do, but because it is the only survival mechanism left. You have to own assets, stocks, real estate, businesses, things that inflate with the money supply. If you don't own assets, you are the asset. You are the battery powering the system. The silent depression is real. The standard of living is dropping. The middle class is fading away. But now that you know the game is rigged, you can stop playing their way. You can stop chasing a number that doesn't mean anything anymore and start chasing the only thing that actually matters: freedom. The system wants you to feel isolated. It wants you to think you're the only one struggling. But look at the comments below. Read the stories. We're all in this boat together. If you want to learn how actually escape this trap and not just complain about it, make sure you're subscribed. We're going to break down exactly how to build wealth in this new, broken economy. Don't let the number on your paycheck fool you. Wake up and start playing a different game.